and then we can
For yourself.
match up a little bit. Speak up for myself.
Yes.
Exactly.
Wow. Here we are.
Here we are.
It's been so long.
It's been so long. As far as like podcasting go, I just saw you a couple weeks ago.
Last
week.
Your birthday.
Yeah, I saw you last week. I was thinking of Aubrey's birthday.
You got fucking shit-faced at your birthday.
I sure did.
heard.
I sure did get shit-faced on my birthday. I was already a little buzzed when you left, and then like not blackout, which is what I wanted, but
Oh wow.
yeah,
That's
but
wild.
very close. In like the 4 hours that were left, like they kicked us out. Like it was the bar closes at 2. It was 1:50. The guy was like waving a flashlight. He was like, "Get out!"
With a flashlight?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's badass.
We weren't the only people there. We weren't being assholes, but yeah, it was
close
great.
to it.
Close. Okay. Close.
According to that guy.
According to that guy, he was like,
Yeah,
please leave. You know what time we close.
And you're a quarter of a century.
I'm a quarter of a century.
God, what did I do when I turned 25? That was 2014.
Wow.
I shut the fuck up. No. I'm so bad at math. That was 2016. Ari, what the hell is wrong with you?
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2016. Nice. I don't know what I did. I have no idea.
Oh.
I'm a low key birthday guy.
Yeah.
Like
you are.
This past December, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, I hung out with Claire and Clark, friends of the podcast.
Friends of the podcast, Claire and Clark.
It was lovely.
Nice.
But yeah, I can't remember the last time I set out to black out.
I try every single time I go out.
Every single time you go out, you try to black out?
No, but I do get drunk every time. Every time there's drinks around, I get drunk.
I like getting drunk.
Yeah.
I do like it. I'm taking a break, kind of.
Sure. I need to take my tolerance is getting too high, so I think I need to take a break.
Yeah, I like. Hello, everybody. We're recording this amidst the horrendous fires.
Yes.
If you couldn't tell by my crunchy voice.
Crunchy.
Yeah. Crunchy.
Right.
But I fled to Nevada.
Yeah.
Friend of the podcast, Ryan and Paige, saved my life.
Nice.
Because I don't have a car. And they were like, hey, we're hightailing it to Nevada. And I was like, I'm coming.
Beautiful.
But we went out one night. We were there 2 nights and we went out to this amazing Thai place.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one cocktail and I was buzzed. I was
wow.
like, if I have one more drink, I'm going to be shit faced. Yeah. Whoa. It was crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like back to that.
Nice.
Yeah. Which I guess is good. Yeah. I don't know. I've been reading, in spurts. I haven't finished it. I've been reading Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker.
Right.
And caffeine and alcohol really fuck with your sleep. It's like crazy.
I'm sure.
Like even if you sleep through the night, you're not getting like all the sleep that you need if there's alcohol or caffeine in your system.
Wow.
Yeah, it affects like because there's like REM cycle and I don't remember the other names, but
sure.
Yeah, they like fuck with individual ones.
Excuse me for yawning. I have horrible sleep. I feel like I sleep well. I don't. I have regular sleep schedules. I frequently wake up in the middle of the night. I go from like not being able to sleep to like right now, if I laid down, I fell asleep. To like being up at 3:30 in the morning, like please God, close your eyes.
I don't mean to laugh. That's awful.
I can never predict.
But yeah, I wonder. So he talks about this in this book. So the tricky thing about being a morning person is you probably get the way he describes it. I'm like, everybody go fact check Ari. Go read this book.
Okay.
Go listen to interviews with Matt Walker. Because I'm about to just like give a very messy summary.
Awesome.
But my understanding is that there are like genetically morning people and night owls.
Sure.
That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But morning people, so they'll get sleepy around like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock
Mhm.
p.m. But if they push past that, they have a hard time falling asleep.
Oh, wow.
So if they go to bed at like midnight or 1, they have a hard time falling asleep.
Uh-huh.
And then still kind of want to be an early riser. So their
Sure.
whole like sleep is fucked.
Wow.
Whereas like night owls, similarly, they just can't go to sleep early.
Right.
Like they'll be lying in bed even at 10 p.m. and
Uh-huh.
being like, oh, I can't fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
And it is interesting because it's like, oh, when he breaks it down that way, it's like, oh, these people aren't having trouble sleeping. They just have like a bad relationship with the sleep that they naturally need.
Right.
And that's kind of got me, just rethinking like my life, you know.
I've definitely been feeling that way, like the way I've been I've definitely been feeling that the way I've been trying to improve my life, where I've been saying I want to get more hours out of my day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really been realizing, I always knew that I was a night person, but I thought it chalked up to, I just really like being awake at night.
Mm.
But obviously all the signs point to, I literally cannot go to sleep any earlier than like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really illuminating the fact that we live in a morning person society, which is not a new idea. A lot of people know this. But like, it takes me an hour to get to my job, so I leave at like 7 o'clock, which usually has me waking up at like 6 or 6:30, and then I don't get home until like 6 o'clock, 7, and then I'm like, if I force myself to sleep to wake for my 6 o'clock wake up time, I have to go to bed immediately. So I'm not getting any hours of my day. I've worked all day and then I go to sleep and then I work all day.
Right. Yeah.
Or if I try to do something, then I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I feel really great. I'm relaxed. I'm doing things that I want to do. I'm being productive. And then I'm like, okay, and now it's 5 o'clock. So let me try and get some sleep, I guess.
5 o'clock in the morning?
5 o'clock in the morning. There have been many days where I'm like, you know what? I should just enjoy myself tonight. And on like a Tuesday night, I'll meet my friends at a bar and we'll stay out until midnight. And then I get home and then I might play a video game or something. And I go to sleep at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Holy shit.
And it's wonderful.
Then you wake up at 6.
And then I wake up at 6. Or usually I wake up at 7 and then I'm late for work.
Dang. That's so brutal. That's so brutal.
It's just like, it's one of those things, like, I've been watching a lot of self-help videos, which I know you love.
I hope I'm not like rubbing that off on you.
No, I mean, I know every time I watch them, I'm like, Ari would love this. Like,
no.
But that guy, Ali Abbasi, is that his name?
I don't know that one.
He's like he used to be a doctor. I guess he still is a doctor technically, but he doesn't work in hospitals anymore. And now he's like an influencer, basically, where he talks about productivity and sleep and everything with a lot of science-based things.
Oh, I think I do know this guy. Yeah.
And
glasses. He does like a bunch of book reviews.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And he's written a book on productivity. I haven't read it, but his videos on productivity are very enlightening. Sometimes I watch a lot of videos on ADHD as well because I'm like, don't make a video about ADHD and it's 20 minutes long.
That's really funny.
I need 5-minute sections. It needs to be about 4 different things because now you're being counterintuitive. But am I rambling?
No,
were you talking about something?
Great.
Am I cutting you off?
No. I think you're going to start taking notes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Sorry, I hope that didn't distract you.
No. I was just like, oh my God, wait, what am I talking about?
Listeners at home, Ari just took a note.
and I got really self-conscious. No. It wasn't about the note at all. I was talking and then I was like, was Ari in the middle of saying something and I cut him off to talk about productivity videos?
No. ADHD videos.
ADHD. Oh yeah. So I'm watching a lot of
really
self-help videos, and him specifically. A lot of the stuff, even if it's not like a direct suggestion, a lot of the stuff relies on me also having an influencer lifestyle.
Right.
And I like my job.
Right.
I like my job. I don't love my schedule. I like my job, and I like the other things I do surrounding my job. But I don't have the freedom to just wrangle my schedule to whether or not I'm a morning person or a night person.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a desire to do that either. I mean, filmmaking kind of allows itself to that, but I don't really have a desire to be an influencer or like self-employed or a freaking entrepreneur or whatever. Like all these things that where they're just like, yeah, and then you can just move your work around into your afternoon if that works better for you. I don't have an afternoon. I'm at work. I'm working at my work.
Right.
I don't really know what the point of that was besides it's hard to schedule around that.
No, yeah, I think the more, for whatever reason, I've taken on like a real cynical, and maybe this is just me like oozing into my mid 30s, having nothing and having done nothing. And, but there is some, like a lot of this self-help stuff. It's like, it doesn't take into account like life really.
Yeah.
And like for me to gift this book about sleep to like my friends who just had a newborn would be insane, like that sort of thing. Or like even to you, it's like, how could that be a priority
right
when your day is so full the way it is? But the sleep one, I'm trying to figure out how to segue into this, but basically like I do think learning about sleep is really valuable. And I'm really glad that I'm taking the time to learn more about it and prioritize it. But you can get trapped in some of these like self-help circles that just really don't take into account socioeconomic statuses that aren't like in the upper echelon.
Yeah.
And like the most egregious example of this, I think, is like if you consume any content about microplastics, it's like if you're not a millionaire, you're kind of fucked. Like and even if you are, you're like kind of fucked. It's like it's such a weirdly like hopeless problem. I mean, it's not completely hopeless, and there are things you can do. And if you have the emotional bandwidth to learn about microplastics, go crazy. But it does feel, that one in particular just feels kind of like, wait, what the fuck? Well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I going to do? Like, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do anything about the fact that, like,
California's on fire. Southern California's on fire.
That California's on fucking fire, yeah. But that, like, California is probably full of air that is just tumbling and pollutants that are going to be permanently in my body, apparently.
Yeah. That's how I felt when I found out that no rainwater in the world is drinkable.
Fuck.
I was like, so that's done.
Yeah, it's done.
That's how I feel about climate change, where they're like, when we're just slowing it down or trying to stop it. It's like, we can't go back.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Well, I like, because I was on such a protein kick, a big source of my protein was fish. The amount of mercury in fish is horrifying. Like, I need to stop. I probably need, I haven't gotten my blood work done, but like, and I don't have any like symptoms other than like the brain rot, but that might be from anything.
Sure. So, it's all the pollutants and the microplastics. So it doesn't have to be mercury.
Or the social media, or like YouTube.
Media.
Yeah. But like, I should, to get ahead of it, I should probably just like slow down.
Sure.
Because I was reading like, you should maybe consume like a can of tuna a week.
What?
Yep. Because there's so much mercury in it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I had tuna like 3 days in a row last week.
Yeah. I eat a lot of tuna.
I eat a lot of tuna.
I eat a lot of tuna. It's like one of the worst effects, because it's like the bigger the fish, the more mercury is in it.
Oh, of course. That makes sense.
Just surface area wise.
Sure.
And so
I didn't know the mercury was that bad. I thought mercury in fish was gone. I thought it was like outdated almost.
Nope. I thought that too.
Well, not yet.
And
I discovered.
I like looked. I like did a cursory search because one of my friends had mentioned it, and that cursory search yielded that like, oh, you'd have to eat like a shit ton to get mercury poisoning. And then I don't know why, but I just found myself thinking like, am I sure about, like, that was kind of like an irresponsible, like, just the first link, and I looked at it, and then I dug deeper. And yeah, there's a lot of like consumer reports that will test. And yeah, tuna is like full of mercury.
I love tuna.
I know.
I make tuna salad. Because I was checking the protein on it.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's great in protein.
Yeah.
I ate a whole can, not can, but I ate a whole Trader Joe's pack of tuna the other day. It was like 38 grams of protein. I was like, hell yeah, look at me. I'm getting buff.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's the fucking dream.
Yeah.
But apparently
I probably had like 4 pounds of tuna last week.
I
can't stop eating it.
I eat a shit ton of fucking tuna myself. But how much mercury is in a can of tuna? You can see. Made with skipjack tuna, common brands like Canned Light or Chunk Light only have about 20 micrograms of mercury in a 5-ounce can. Larger fish like albacore. Is this fish safe to eat? Consumer Reports. How worried should you be about? Yeah, so these are all this is all the shit.
So then I eat a can of albacore tuna, which has 58 milligrams, whatever it said. How dangerous, like what percentage of dangerous is that? Like what is my daily max or whatever?
Yeah. So
because I was just about to eat it more because I love it so much. I make like my favorite tuna salad. I like Panera Bread tuna salad, but I also make delicious tuna salad. I eat it by the forkful. I don't even put on a cracker or anything.
So first of all, there's a huge lack in knowledge about this in the public.
By the public, you mean?
Like people just don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
sure. Well, that makes sense.
So I'm reading consumerreports.org, which is like fairly trustworthy. But so Consumer Report tested mercury in tuna. How many 5-ounce cans of tuna can you consume each week?
Just 2?
Yeah, so
5 ounces?
2.
I usually buy like a 20 ounce.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my God.
So this is by brand. So Bumblebee Chunk Light, you can have 3 cans. And that, I think a 5-ounce can is like 20-ish grams of protein.
Okay.
And then if you get the Bumblebee Albacore, you can only eat 2 a week. If you get Chicken of the Sea Albacore, you can only eat 1 a week because of the amount of mercury that's in it.
So if I eat more than that, will I die?
You won't die. You just
get really sick.
Maybe. So I've been eating a shit ton for months.
Right.
Like daily almost.
Right.
A can in the morning. Because it's just such an easy source of like 30 grams of protein. Boom. And I guess I've been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But
you feel like your brain's deteriorating? Is that what you said?
I mean, I do feel like I have brain rot. Like I like forget things. I'm not, but that seems to be like a trend amongst everybody my age that I talk to. And who knows? It might be like I'm using my fucking phone to remember stuff. You know, it could be like a bunch of stuff. I'm not having any other symptoms, but mercury poisoning. Like when you see symptoms, it's like you have a shit ton of mercury in your system.
Sure.
Like it's like kind of. It's not necessarily too late.
Sure.
But like at that point, it's like intense.
Right.
So why not get ahead of it?
Of course.
Like cut down. Of course. You know.
Wow.
But
that's gonna be rough.
For listeners at home, I gave you like no specific numbers and.
Well, 3 cans of Bumblebee Chunk Light a week.
A week. Yeah. And
that's at most.
At most,
you can only have 3 cans.
And I'll put this in the show notes.
Consumerreport.org.
But yeah, isn't that a bummer?
That's a major bummer.
Yeah. Oh, and then the microplastics thing. Apparently, a lot of canned stuff is lined with plastic.
Yeah, to prevent the freaking stuff from seep. Like we did it to prevent the metal stuff, and then the plastic's bad too.
Yeah. And that's the same with paper cups.
What do you fucking mean it's the same as paper cups?
For your coffee.
Oh, they're lined with plastic.
They're lined with plastic to prevent it from like leaking.
Yeah. Which is the thing about microplastics. Once I found out that every living human being has them in their body, I was like, okay, then I don't fucking care anymore. I want to be mostly plastic the day I die because I can't get them out.
You're gonna be.
I'm gonna be. Yeah. I eat a lot of like Indian meals from Trader Joe's, and I was like, I just put plastic in a
microwave.
heat zapper.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
see,
I eat the food in it.
Yeah, see, that's the worst. That's like the number one thing that they're like, stop doing that.
Hot, my food cooked in hot plastic.
Yeah, don't.
I won't even leave it on the stove. Like if I take a meal out of the stove, I immediately put it because I'm like, I don't want the plastic to melt. I don't want to like accidentally melt the plastic because I could die.
Right.
But then I put it in the microwave and
yeah.
I just tear it up. And I definitely eat 2 of those a week. I love them.
Oh yeah, they're delicious.
They're delicious.
I mean, I'm using yeah, so we're recording this during the LA fires. The water isn't apparently safe to drink.
Right.
So I have bottled water and it's like, well,
what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
I'm sure my hydro flask is lined with plastic.
That too.
My lid is plastic. The lid and the freaking
That's the
bumper.
thing. I was like, all my glass Tupperware has a plastic lid.
Yeah. You can't avoid. You really can't
like,
avoid it.
It's so insane. And I'm wearing plastic glasses.
Yeah.
It was pretty fucking cold in Nevada when we were there, and I have my little, like North Face fucking
plastic
down jacket, and polyester is plastic.
Yeah.
Like, and every time you like take anything that's polyester out of a closet or like put it on, it's just shooting microplastics into the air.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, apparently, I mean, yeah.
In my winter coat.
Your winter fucking coat.
And you know what? Like this shirt probably is a soft cotton shirt. It probably has polyester in it. Like all the stuff that you don't even associate with polyester probably has fucking polyester in it.
Well, I hope. I mean, yeah. Why would we trust anybody? Like, why would we trust any? I bet it says 100%.
Because you know what it is because you know what it is.
Listeners at home, Casey's looking at his shirt.
Because you know what it is that you'll look and it'll be like 75% cotton, 25% polyester.
True.
Just to make it stretch or something.
Yeah.
Why don't you just make my size? It just pisses me off. The world fucking sucks. The world fucking.
Listeners at home, he's working on it.
Okay, so this shirt is actually 100% cotton, and that's why it feels so nice. But other shirts, I own so many part polyester shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. It's like, so in like, I really think it's important not to, like, I think complaining.
Okay, this one's also 100% cotton. Anyway, my point stays.
You'd be surprised. I feel like a lot of my clothing is natural fibers, but I'm also kind of a nerd about that.
I don't like the texture.
Of natural fibers.
Of not
polyester. Yeah, the texture of polyester sucks.
It's horrible on my skin, so I usually try to buy 100% cotton, but if it's soft, like I just feel it.
Yeah.
If it's soft enough, I buy it.
Right. And who knows what kind of chemical they're putting in there to make it soft.
When I found out that fucking fabric softener is just coating your clothes to feel soft, you're not making it softer. You're just putting freaking soap all over it.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Fabric softener is like, yeah.
Fabric softener is the biggest freaking scam in the game.
It also ruins a lot of types of clothes.
And it ruins. I get a lot of like oil stains from fabric softener. I've stopped using it.
Oh shit!
I'll get like spots on my clothes.
That's so fucked up.
It's fucked up. You know what else I was thinking?
What?
The lenses in our glasses aren't even glass. They're plastic.
They're plastic also. Yeah.
God forbid I look in the sun.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, the thing that's so frustrating is like, in a lot of ways, plastic's a fucking miracle.
My thing is like, people got fine without it. You know what I mean? Plastic isn't even like 100 years old. We've just been like, it was just like plastic, and now it's everywhere. You can't get away from it.
Yeah, I mean,
now it's in my body. Whatever.
But I mean, like, but the world we live in is like, yeah, people were not getting away with it, but like, you didn't have access to a lot of goods. Do you know what I mean? Like your options at your local market, were so slim.
And now, because of what? Can you elaborate on what?
Because I think plastic, as a way to store things.
Oh sure.
And like transport things and package stuff.
You know what? I'll say it, and maybe this is coming from a really privileged place. I will sacrifice avocados if it means that a newborn baby won't have plastic in them. like you're like it's like, oh, but your avocados have to come from. It's fine.
I mean, yeah. I just my thing is like I don't think like there's no going back really. Like nobody's gonna do
there's
that.
no going back.
Yeah.
So that's that's why I don't care about microplastics because like I can't.
Yeah,
They're in my body now.
Yeah. I've been a little more. I've been like bringing a mug to my coffee shop and stuff.
I work on my plastic use more for like recycling and environmental reasons.
Oh yeah.
Microplastics, I'm like, it's done.
Yeah.
It was done before I even knew what microplastics were. Like,
Right. Yeah, that's the thing.
There's nothing I can do about that.
My fucking bike helmet as a kid, just plastic.
I had so much.
I have plastic in my brain.
You have plastic in your brain?
Probably.
Oh, well, yes, probably. I thought you were referencing something. I thought you were like, yeah, that plastic plate I have in my head.
No.
It was in a horrible.
Oh,
bike
and then
accident.
fucking like, I mean, the headphones I use.
Yeah.
Just leaking into my ear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, listeners. We're just being a couple of Debbie Downers.
Yeah, sorry we talked for 26 minutes about how awful the world is. But you know what? Sometimes the world is awful. What can you do?
Yeah, and I think like not. To pretend that it's not is.
Yeah, and sometimes you just gotta get it out. Like
Somebody's
the world is awful.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna get it out. But on that note, it's a new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ari.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, Ari.
Yes.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. And yeah, we're a couple of guys watching self-help content who want to be filmmakers, and we're gonna keep each other accountable. And
this is the ticket.
Hello, everybody. Today is the 11th of January, 2025, year of our Lord, 2044 hours, PST. Hell yeah. And
plastic. Fucking.
My name is Ari Pointcheck.
My name is Casey Young.
And this is
the ticket.
Woo! Yeah, so I guess since it's a new year, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Listeners, we were busy.
Majorly.
Since our last episode, I did a production of A Christmas Carol.
Hell yeah.
At the Covina Theater with Sonder Theater Company.
Hell yeah.
It was a blast. I had so much fun. We released a couple more videos on the YouTube, and
hell yeah,
that rocked. Probably the short film I'm most proud of that I've written and directed, we released.
Hell yeah. What's the title of that one?
Je dois. It means I have to.
Parlez-vous français? Je dois.
That's hot.
And that's all I've got, ladies.
I mean, it's a start.
Oui.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
But yeah, and I guess that's a nice way to kind of. Yeah, I like. I'm really proud of this past year. I had I had so much fun doing A Christmas Carol. I missed it so much. I got to act. I got to sing. I got to play guitar on stage.
Hell yeah.
I got to dance.
Hell yeah.
It was awesome. And this short film, Je dois, is this like short musical comedy. Shout out to Joy and Zoe, friends of the podcast.
Hell yeah.
They rock.
Hell yeah.
I'll have a link to the short in the show notes. You can look them up. Shout out to James and Clark as well. Clark did a bunch of mastering and production on the song that I wrote.
Amazing.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, oh, I'm doing the stuff I want to do, and now it's just a matter of like scaling it. You know, how do I maybe make money doing this, and how do I do it on a bigger scale? You guys know what I mean. So that's where I'm at in this new year, baby. Where are you at?
Whoa. I mean, I've been doing so much self-improvement I haven't really been thinking about art. I mainly have been trying to get myself to like a baseline to where I can like enjoy things and like do things that I like to do.
That's great. A foundation.
Exactly. Yeah, a foundation. My goal, I've probably talked about this a little bit. A friend of mine, friend of the podcast, JJ, is a producer.
JJ.
And we've been working on a script for a very long time, basically just trying to crank out the kinks.
Rom-com.
Yeah, rom-com, exactly.
Hell yeah.
And basically it's just now my time to write it. And it's been a long time.
What kinks have you been getting out?
Do
you guys have an outline?
We don't have an outline. I personally
don't believe in outline.
It's not that I don't believe. I believe in whatever works for you. Like I know we have a mutual friend who like records. It does like voice memos of like his ideas and stuff, and then when he writes it out, he kind of gets a rough timeline. Like he records as if he's reading the script. Like whatever his idea is, he's like.
Wait, who does that?
Luke.
Oh, Luke does do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of the podcast, Luke.
Friend of the podcast, Luke. I don't know if that's secret. But, and I'm just like, that could never work for me. Mainly because I hate the sound of my own voice.
Good thing you're a podcaster.
Yeah. When I have to listen for like show notes and stuff, I'm like, oh my God, stop talking.
I think you're great.
Thank you. That would never work for me. So I feel like with art, like I remember when I first started writing, I was watching so many videos about like Quentin Tarantino's writing ideas.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody I want to model is like Ursula K. Le Guin has like her perfect day.
Yeah.
And it's just like a completely structured whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
wait,
did
you watch it's a woman YouTuber. She does a whole breakdown of Ursula K. Le Guin. She did her daily thing for like a month or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, Ursula K. Le Guin is fucking cool as fuck.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like I'm always just trying to like model somebody else and trying to figure out like why that doesn't work for me. So basically my point is that whatever works for you should work for you. I've stopped not believing in things. I just don't really feel like outlines work out very well for me. And I don't really know why. I think the outline doesn't really help me get into like the pace and the feel of what I want to write.
Yeah, sure.
So then, like how I always talk about, I get stuck with the second act. I get stuck with the entire second act.
Yeah.
I need to get into the rhythm of it, the outline, because I also feel weird identifying things as beats. I think it makes me feel like I'm saying now this scene means this, whereas when I watch a movie I go, oh, this feels like the midpoint because she's just found out something really devastating, and it's not necessarily plot driven or like emotion. Like I feel like the further and further I dissect a movie, I'm like stripping it of all that I like about it.
Oh,
you know?
Sure. Yeah.
The only movie I did outline was my Scooby-Doo script because I was trying to model it after a Scooby-Doo episode.
Oh, sorry.
So I was like, well, around this point is when this should happen, and da 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 da. If I'm just like kind of coming up with a random idea, because I also like the stuff that I write is kind of plotless. Not like I'm freaking Paul Thomas Anderson or something. Just like I like
Tarkovsky.
Or Tarkovsky. I went to a 10 o'clock show of Mirror.
Oh,
it was the first Tarkovsky I'd ever seen. And I was like, what is your freaking problem? You idiot.
You went at 10 a.m.?
10 p.m.
Oh, 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Oh,
Ari.
shit. Did you sleep?
Yes, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I was like, why is the house on fire? What the hell? And she's just looking out the field.
Oh, my God. So I actually haven't seen Mirror, but I was just learning about... That was the most expensive shot in the film.
Sure.
And they fucked it up the first time.
Whoa.
The camera jammed and they couldn't put the house out. They couldn't put the fire out in time, so the house actually burned down, but they didn't shoot it. So then they had to rebuild the house.
Oh my god!
And light it on fire again. Yeah.
Well, isn't that with Stalker? They lost the entire first cut.
Oh my god! I was just sorry, listeners. We're gonna go down this rabbit hole. I was watching this great video essay about our boy Tarkovsky, and they were using a new experimental Kodak film stock.
Okay.
And so yeah, they shot the whole movie. This 3.5 hour fucking. It's not 3.5 hours.
But it's long.
It's long.
It might be 3 hours.
I think it's definitely 3 hours. But they shoot this whole thing, and they, for whatever reason, they didn't look back at it until like months after production, and they looked at it, and were like, "Why the fuck is it all green?"
And
it's not. That's not
right.
supposed to look like that. And yeah, they were just like, "This looks like fucking ass."
Right.
And so he was like, "We have to do this again." And he was having a bunch of beef with the cinematographer anyway. So he was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna fire him." And then they shot it a second time.
Wow.
And Tarkovsky hated it. So they shot it a third time with a third cinematographer.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. They shot that movie 3 times.
How is that allowed?
Russia, I don't know. They just do it different out there.
I hear stories like that sometimes, not necessarily specifically about foreign films, but sometimes you just hear a story and you're like, damn, like, people really care about what you're doing. Like, somebody else has to care about Tarkovsky enough to let him shoot a movie 3 times.
Yep. And then speaking of microplastics and toxins, because they were shooting in these like derelict factories. And
great.
Yeah, so they got like exposed to all these like chemicals and shit.
Oh my god.
And they were working like 16-hour days to get these, like, I mean, the movie's beautiful. The movie, it's like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. But they suspect that he died because of everything he was exposed to there. And multiple people died of these like horrific cancers after. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And they shot it thrice.
Yep.
So they had 16, 32, 48 hours a day. They had 48-hour days working on this movie.
Oh, to like do one.
Like, if they had a 16-hour day, they did it 3 times.
They did it 3 times. Yeah. That's really funny. But yeah, it's like, it's so crazy. How the fuck did we get on that topic? Oh, you're not like.
So,
you saw
my films are plotless. No, I saw Mirror. That was it.
At 10 p.m. and you fell asleep.
I was just expressing how stupid that was. Like,
no, I mean, no shade on Tarkovsky. They're just slow moving pictures.
Yeah, no shade at all. I'm not into experimental film as it is. I think David Lynch is too experimental for me. So I'm watching Tarkovsky's like his experimental film. Like, everybody says that it's his most experimental film, and he's already a pretty esoteric kind of guy. And it's my first film of his ever. I couldn't even get through Ivan's Childhood, and it's all freaking about whatever it's about.
You couldn't get through Ivan's Childhood?
No, I couldn't.
The premise of that one seems so intense.
Sure.
It's about a Russian child who is conscripted by the Russian army to be a scout during World War II.
I would have known that had I finished it.
That's not obvious in the beginning? I haven't seen it.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
That's so funny. Well, maybe listeners read the summary before watching his films.
Yeah. I was just expressing how stupid that was. Like, it's probably the dumbest movie you can watch at 10 p.m.
Unless you're a night owl.
For the first time. Yeah, unless you're a night owl, which apparently I am, but I don't like experimental films.
I am curious if you went to bed at like 9 or 8 even. If you would fall asleep.
I wonder. I'd have to try it one day.
Yeah, because it sounds like you've never tried it.
My bedtime was 9 when I was a kid, and I hated it.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was like my least, like, bedtime was always like, okay, time to lay in the dark.
Oh, fuck. When you put it like that.
I don't know if I've tried, I've never tried, but I have had days where, like, I'm exhausted, here I go. and I fall face first into my bed, and it's 8:30 at night, and I sleep until friggin' I need to be up the next day. So if I push myself to exhaustion, I can do it. But yeah, on a normal day, like should I go to work on Monday? Hopefully I don't go to work on Monday. I go to work on Monday, come home.
Because of the fire.
Because of the fire. My job is so close to the fires. Did I tell you this already? Did I ever say
Yeah,
this?
yeah. Well, I mean, you alluded to it, but I just knew that.
Right. Yeah. My job, this is getting so tangential because I am 2 points away from what I was originally talking about. My job is really close to the fires. I called out yesterday to avoid them. And it's just crazy. It's crazy that they even expect us to go in. Sorry. But anyway.
No, it is crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, it's so
insane.
I avoided. I called out on Wednesday because I was like, "Oh, the fires are really bad. I'm not going to work." And then not everybody got prissy about it or anything, but I was just like, "Okay, let me see what it's like on Thursday." I go to work on Thursday, and it turned out to be a misfire mistake, but we get an evacuation warning. I don't always have a car when I go to work, so I leave my office, and I'm like, "Well, time to wait an hour." To get like, had there actually been a fire, like I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And it takes me an hour to get home, and I can only imagine in the middle of everyone evacuating the area, I'm not going to get home in an hour.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just like, I just feel like it's safer to not go until the fires are put out, which seems like a reasonable thing to do. I've got a week of sick time, and I don't know. My boss seems to not really think it's as serious as it is. So
yeah, it's so weird. I mean, I work. Yeah, one of my day jobs has just been wildly like. Yeah, they just not understanding.
Not understanding.
And,
sorry.
Oh no. But it's like this job. So I started working part time at FedEx, and like half of there's like half the routes they can't do because of the fire.
Why don't you just fucking stop delivering?
Just fucking. We'll be fine for a week.
Yeah.
Can't halt capitalism though.
Right.
God, we're really just complaining this episode.
It's a shitty world, Ari. Like when you really look around, and I get it. On my birthday, we were talking to a friend of the podcast, JJ, and he was like,
just a beacon of positivity.
Literally a beacon of positivity. He was like, we're afraid of death because we believe that life is so worth living, and like, you know, there's always something to value and everything, and not even in a like annoying way. Like I feel like sometimes people talk like that and they're so fucking annoying. He was just like, this is genuinely what I feel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I look around and I don't see anything to enjoy. Like I feel like I'm constantly creating artificial happiness for myself, and because the world is ending, and I want a reason to live, but I don't really see one.
I mean, what a great way to get back to what we were talking about. Your reason to live.
My reason to live, writing movies with my plastic camera, and one day I'll probably shoot a movie on a contaminated set and I'll die.
If only.
If only.
But yeah. So you've been working on self-improvement.
Self-improvement, yes. Yes, my reason to live. Yes, my self-improvement.
What you've showed me spreadsheets.
My spreadsheets, yeah. So I figured out how to use formulas in spreadsheets. I usually just use them for like tables and lists and things. But I was like, oh, what do you mean I can make like these cells add up to this? And I
for like
just,
budgeting.
Yeah, budgeting. So I have a really nice budgeting spreadsheet, which is solely for. I wish I could think of a way to do this for my savings, but my budgeting spreadsheet is basically just to see like what did I spend in a month, and I'm really afraid to look at the end of this month.
Yeah.
Because I think I can change. I think that I can make the improvements that I want to make. But as I'm like putting stuff in as it goes, I think I should do it at the end of the month. But as I'm putting stuff in as it goes, I'm just like, you have way more money than you think you have. Me personally.
Oh, that's good.
It's good. But then I spend it all. You know.
I see.
It's like I'll spend like the 3 days before payday, like, okay, so how am I gonna stretch this $20? But it's good to know that the money's available, because for a long time I was just like, I don't make enough. Nobody makes enough. But
Welcome to Los Angeles.
The world is horrible. I'm sorry. On a different day I might be different, but today I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'm doing some budgeting. I want to be really smart about money.
Yeah.
Just because less like I follow this guy, Vincent Chan. Do you know him?
No.
He's a financial guy. He's very helpful. He makes finances very easy. He has a great video on which high yield savings account you should get.
Oh, nice.
But he's always like, you want financial freedom. So if you retire early, this is to make it where you can retire early. I'm not even really thinking about retiring early. I just want to have money for anything that I could possibly want, and it doesn't bankrupt me.
Yeah.
And I want that for the entirety of my life.
Yeah, totally.
I don't mind the idea. Well, I mean, I guess if I work in an industry that I would enjoy, I don't really mind the idea of working until I die. Just because the only other thing I will accept is like living in a communist utopia where I just do things out of the kindness of my heart and not like I feel like I'm going to be homeless.
Oh, gosh.
But anyway, so I'm trying to work on my finances. That's a big one. And I have a few goals. Like I have trips that I have loosely planned, and I want to be able to afford those, as well as have enough money to move out and have a 10-month cushion for moving out. It seems very doable. I break it down in a few different ways. Like something that really helps me is like, how much do I need to save a month? How much do I need to save a week? How much do I need to save every single day?
Oh, great.
Just so I have a bunch of different numbers to work with.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Wait, so you only look at your finances at the end of the month?
As far as the budget tracker goes, well, here's the honest truth. I don't look at my finances ever. I never look at my bank account unless I know that I just spent $200 and I know I need gas. I very rarely look at my bank account unless I'm waiting for my check to drop. But the idea of the budget tracker is to look at it at the end of the month, so that way going into the next one you can see exactly what you've spent.
I see.
Yeah. But I do want to keep a better eye on it. My quick and easy management is like take out cash. Like I take out cash and I'm like, this is what you spend. And then I feel like cash. Thank you. I feel like cash is a lot. It's tangible, so I can see. At any point in time I go to buy something, I can see whether or not I can afford it. Yeah, but I'm gonna start looking at my bank account more. Nice. It just is depressing.
No, oh fuck. I think this might be from Anthony DeMello. I can't remember, but basically this idea of like change, it can't be something that this is Anthony DeMello talking. He's the guy who wrote this book called Awareness that a lot of self-help people are really wet about. He was a former Jesuit priest that introduced a lot of like Eastern concepts into Catholicism, and was very he's great. You can find talks of his on YouTube. He's amazing. But he has this thing where he's like, change is not something that you can do. It's not something that you can will into happening. It's always an after effect, or it's something that just happens. And he's like, the way it happens is when you really see what's going on.
Sure.
And I think like my finances, like big changes only ever happened when I was literally looking at it every day. Like every day updating a table. And that's what I'm doing now. And yeah, it's awful. It's horrifying.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrifying. But it's a fire.
Yeah.
To make change happen,
Absolutely.
To mold you into the person you want to be. So yeah, good job. That's great.
Thanks.
It's exciting.
I'm trying. I mean, I'm also there's a lot of like mental and emotional things. Like a big one is just being like, just put in the effort. Don't expect an outcome.
Is this
just
in
like
regards
try.
to finance or just in general?
In general.
In general.
In
Yeah,
general.
Sure. I'm feeling this as well.
Yeah, that's a big thing because I get really I guess that makes me a perfectionist. I like a big thing. I want to learn how to roller skate, but the last time I tried, I wasn't like immediately good at it.
Yes.
So then I stopped. Like my mom bought me roller skates and everything, and I stopped. And I do that in like every aspect of my life. Um, you know, I mean, even little things. I can't think of anything. Oh, you know what's a great one? Using my notebooks. If I had any blank space on a page, like for the people, this is like an outline of an outline. No,
Oh.
this is a list of things I want to put in a script, and I'm leaving this for like related things. Now what I do is I just throw it. You're about to see how much my shit costs. I just throw a line in the middle, and I'm like, just go back when you want to, just like fucking write again or whatever, because I used to just like have so much blank space in notebooks and stuff because I was like, well, no, that page is for this and that, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm not writing a manuscript.
It took me a long time to do that also,
Uh-huh.
but now, yeah, I do similar, like break it up by line.
Yeah,
But
and
I think,
and that's just like my way of thinking.
yeah,
So I'm trying to stop thinking that
sure.
about other things.
I've been so yeah, you want to get to a place where you're not so focused on like outcomes or goals, but more
Yeah.
just like the way you exist.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've been I've been reading a lot of stuff about like tantra,
Right.
which is very much in line with
If
my
you've listened to
fucking
any
life.
other episode.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, so there's this great book called The Heart of Tantra by this woman named Diana Richardson, and in it she has this. It's gonna sound really corny, but this like passage that I found really beautiful, where
Sure.
she's basically like, "Look, you are not a human doing; you are a human being."
Wow.
So like, just yeah, live a life that isn't so goal and like outcome oriented. Like learn to kind of like, and her, because what she's talking about is like being in the moment and like feeling your body and feeling the other person's body without putting pressure to achieve an orgasm or achieve like pleasure. Just like you will like the pleasure will just happen if you give space to it. And I think I've been kind of like trying to figure that out in my own life of like, there's this bodybuilder, Chris Bumstead, who just won his 6th Mr. Universe.
Whoa.
Yeah, this past year. Or Mr. Olympia, sorry. Mr. Olympia.
Okay.
And he's a beast. And he just put a video out where he was just like, I was very goal oriented at one time, but I quickly realized that like when you become identity oriented, things just get easier. And yeah, it's like, what do you want? Great. It's important to know that. But what kind of person would achieve that? And maybe start there.
Yeah.
Maybe put the focus there. Like, who is that person?
Yeah.
Who is that being?
Yeah.
And go from there.
Ali Abbasi had I really hope that's his name.
I'm sure.
I hope so. I feel like
We'll put it in the show notes.
I've been watching his videos at work, and like I don't really like look at a lot of the videos. I let them kind of play, and then oh my god, his name's Ali Abdal. I'm sorry. I'm sure Ali Abbasi is a person and not this guy.
Yeah.
His name is Ali Abdal.
No, this guy's great.
He's great.
Yeah,
He's great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've been calling him Ali Abbasi. I think that's a film director. I think it is. Anyway, he has a video exactly like that where he talks about being identity oriented, where he was saying that people were pulled and versus the question, will you be a voter in the next election versus will you vote in the next election? And more people voted yes when they said that they would be a voter.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Which is a crazy psychological thing.
Yeah, that is crazy.
But it is interesting to think about, like, because while you were talking, I was like, well, then, if you're not goal oriented, how do you achieve goals?
Yeah, right.
And I guess it's just when you want to be who you want to be.
Yes, yeah. Like that, I think that's like the conundrum, right? It's like, and maybe that's like a very like American thing too. um, fuck, I don't know why I said that. I have no idea why I said that. I had a thought and then
Okay.
the brain rot.
Yeah, too much
The
mercury.
yeah. Fuck. But like having a goal, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't like, because when I look at my life last year, I did have goals. I wanted to book 2 plays.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend James and I set out to like shoot something once a month for a year. And like, yeah, I think this is why it's like, because like looking in retrospect, it's like, oh, thank God you like set those goals.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it was like, I didn't have a goal of like booking a Christmas Carol specifically.
Sure.
And I didn't have a goal of writing Jadois specifically either.
Sure.
Those just like arose from me kind of just like scrambling and like just treading water in this lifestyle to do these things, you know? And I guess if you're a person who has a lot of goals and they never happen, maybe it's time to look at your identity instead.
Sure.
You know, because it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one of those videos. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. It's gonna be so
real quick.
Had this really great quote. People, by and large, become what they think of themselves.
Yep.
What the hell? But exactly that. Like, I think I can say, which is something that I was gonna try and find an opening to vocalize. I think I can set as many goals as I want, and I think I can force myself to be a morning person, and like I can have little goals, I can have big goals, and I can work really hard towards them. But ultimately, I feel like I personally am someone who cannot fulfill those things. Like I feel like I am at my core someone who cannot match up to the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it always fails. And that's not to say all I need to do is rewire my way of thinking, but I guess kinda. That's my identity. I feel like my identity is to be like a follower and a failure and whatever.
You know, I will push back on that a little bit. I said that yes with such vigor when you were like, people by and large become what they think of themselves, and I was like, yes. But I do want to like push back on that a little bit, because I think like believing in yourself, that has a really nice ring to it, I think. And like obviously like to do something like make a movie, you kind of have to you kind of have to be a crazy person. There is this podcast hosted by this guy named Chris Williamson, and he talks about like the prevalence of imposter syndrome. And he's like, well, if imposter syndrome is a thing, it's like these successful people must not believe in themselves. So therefore, maybe that's not a requirement. You know what I mean? Like you can shit on yourself and not think something is going to work out, and do the steps to do the thing.
Sure.
And it can work out. And then when you're there, you're not really enjoying it. You're not present because you're like, oh my God, I don't deserve this. Or, oh my God, I'm about to lose everything. Oh my God, these people are going to find out I'm a fraud, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And he has this great a video where he's just talking. He's like, don't worry about believing in yourself. Worry about like gathering evidence.
Interesting.
And basically like go out and like take the steps to like make the thing or write the thing or work out, and like that's gathering evidence that you are this person, you know. And ultimately that evidence is just going to keep stacking and stacking and stacking. And yeah, like kind of fuck believing in yourself. Like,
Sure.
because you're, at the end of the day, you're a smart person. You're a smart person who like is able to look at your life. And when you look at your life, you're like, I don't have any of the things that I want. I haven't done any of the things I want to do. I haven't done any of the things I want to do.
Yeah.
So of course you're going to be like, well, I must be a person that doesn't do those things.
Right.
But instead, if you reorient and be like, let me see if I can do this. And then it's like, yeah, let me like gather evidence. Let me see if I can do it. And maybe you can't. And maybe you like start going down this road and you like don't enjoy it.
Right.
You know, and like, then you can pivot. Then you can slowly get to the life you want.
Yeah.
But if you like being in like a stagnant place, that's death. That's like game over.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus, we're
I don't know.
What a whirlwind this episode.
Self-improvement.
Self-improvement.
And what's the point in improving yourself if you're only made of microplastics and the world is going to end in 25 years anyway?
No. Those are all, I think those are actually all reasons to improve yourself.
Yeah, enjoy the years you got left.
Because with that, and like you were talking about like building a foundation. Yeah. And I think I feel the same way about this year. I don't remember who's, it was Andrew Huberman and this financial expert who I am blanking on the name. Okay. I'll put it in the show notes. But they were talking, and the financial expert guy was like, happiness is purpose and independence. And in the context of what they were talking about, independence was it was finances, like having enough money to be free, basically. And when I heard that, I realized that like, oh, I've been kind of coasting on purpose and not providing myself with independence, really. And in that Diana Richardson book about Tantra, she talks about how Western societies are very top-heavy sexually. Okay. We don't have a foundation of sexual education. We don't have a foundation of like sexual appreciation. There's a lot of judgment, a lot of shame. And yet we all want to do it. And the way she describes it is like top heavy. We don't have a foundation. So we're just kind of like wobbling around, like unstable. And then our body parts just flop together and rub up against each other. And it's not satisfying. And I realize, and again, like when I look at my life, I think I'm very top heavy. I've been like pursuing acting and writing and filmmaking and all these things, but I don't have my finances in order. Sure. I don't have a job. I haven't like figured out how to have a day job that like doesn't freak me out and give me the Sunday scaries and pays well. Yeah. You know, like I don't have a foundation. Yeah. So, yeah, I think this year is like trying to find that, trying to build that for myself. The independence piece. Yeah. Yeah.
That's definitely how I feel. I feel like I kind of didn't really feel like an adult until last year. I left school at 17, and then I didn't work until I was 19. I was trying to like pursue my dreams. And then I just kind of like bounced from job to job to job until I got the job. Oh no, I was 18 when I got that job. Whatever. Don't remember. Okay, so I didn't work until I was 18, let's say. And I had this job that I really liked, and then it fell through, and now I have a job that I like for its stability, and I'm constantly like wondering if that's a valid reason to like it. Right. Because I don't like what I do literally, and I don't like that I drive an hour to get there, an hour to get back, and it's not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. Yeah. But I spend like $500 on concert tickets, and if I forget my lunch, I can buy a burrito. And it used to be like, you know, I'd fucking eat popcorn for lunch I used to work in a movie theater. I'd eat the free popcorn for lunch. Like
Yeah.
so many different things.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't feel like an adult, and I think that's where I'm at. Like now, like last year felt very just like stagnant is probably a great word to use for it. I feel like I was looking back and I was like, nothing really happened. A lot of things happened, a lot of horrible things, a lot of really great things happened. But as a year, like for a year as a whole, I didn't really do much.
Yeah.
And I definitely I didn't achieve things that I would have liked to have done in that year, or even things that I would have liked to have done by the time I was 24 or 25. So now this year I'm trying to be like a little bit more intentional.
Yeah.
And that's where all the self-improvement is coming from, where I was like, no, dude, like literally no one else is going to do this for you.
Yeah.
Like you have to, and it's hard. And it's just, and I think that's what makes it so bothersome is looking around and being like, but it could be different. There are many aspects of everyone's lives that I feel like are out of our control. Yeah. Not just microplastics.
Yeah. Totally.
Like all the night people are forced to be morning people, and friggin' fires happen, and they're nobody's fault except the people's fault that they are. But you know, you lose your house, and it's the fucking Raskins' fault, and it's like, what do you do? What do you do about the Raskins? And then I mean, we have poor gun. Well, no, now I'm going out.
Yeah. But the point is, there's a lot out of your control, but there's a lot in your control.
And there's a lot in your control.
Yeah.
Which I think is what makes the stuff that's in your control so it makes it feel like it's harder than it is.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, just try to spend less money this month than you did last month.
Beautiful.
And then the next month, and whatever. And that's something. What was really illuminating is I've been on a long weight loss journey, and something that I realized was that like when I just had the knowledge, I was actively making better choices. And I hate all the language around it, but for lack of a better term, I was making better choices. I was making choices towards the goals that I had.
Yes.
Not necessarily better, worse, or anything else. And I was achieving my goals. I wasn't using a calorie tracker. I wasn't eating chicken, rice, and broccoli. I was eating what I wanted, and I was going out when I wanted, and I was still living my life. And I would look around, and I was like, oh wow, I'm like actually making major progress.
Yeah.
When I stopped being like, oh well, you did this wrong, and whatever.
Yeah.
And weight loss is a big one. I mean, people have the same thing. People have so much shame around weight loss,
totally.
weight gain, whatever. And so much of it is like water weight, like all this stuff, like people don't really know like their muscle mass and how much is like not bloated, but like water weight, things like that. Like there's so many aspects to when you step on the scale every morning.
Oh yeah.
And now I sound like a freaking weight loss influencer or something.
No.
But that's like a big one. But I think it's it illuminates all the other things that there are also so many like toxic parts of. This is so hard to explain.
No.
But just like that exact same thing, like you're thinking in this structure that isn't very healthy or conducive, healthy or conducive. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be like, just be cognizant, because you want what you want.
Yeah.
And as long as you're aware of like, I feel like as long as you're aware of the bad decisions you're making, you can kind of move in the right direction at a pace that works for you.
Yeah, and I think you being like, okay, how much did you spend last month? Just do a little bit less the next month. Like, I think letting yourself have taking really small steps is fine. Like, at the end of the day, it's about consistency. And like, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. But try and not have 0 days.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where it gets hard. And like, yeah, there's going to be shit out of your control. Like the day that we were in Nevada, because of the fire, do anything, you know. And I probably could have. I probably could have like really made an effort, but there was just a lot going on. I was feeling weird about I had to deal with like job stuff, blah blah blah, and that hiccup didn't completely destroy me.
Yeah.
Today was kind of hard, honestly, but because I have already lived a life where I have a daily writing habit, and I have a daily like rehearsal habit, and I have a workout regimen. I know what I eat and all that. Like the fact that I have all those in place makes it easier to get back get back on the path,
right?
You know, and if you give yourself space to just be consistent and slowly build and build and build, eventually it's just, you're not even going to think about it. And when there are 0 days, you can get back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today was hard though.
Yeah.
I think it was just like, I fucking got to FedEx and they didn't have enough work for everybody. They like had me go home early because the fucking fires.
Right, of course.
And then I got like a warning
for
like calling out because of the fires. And like I just realized, and then they like walked me through like what it takes to like request time off and like all this stuff. And it's just not flexible at all.
Right.
It's like multiple hoops.
Right.
I have to get multiple approvals.
Right.
And that's just not help. Like, it's just not what I want or need.
Yeah.
And I think I had this image of like, oh, I'll have this job that like provides benefits where all I do is drive. It doesn't give me the Sunday scaries. And I'll be able to like get people to cover my shift if I need to. That's what I just assumed. I was like excited and like it felt like something foundational.
Yeah.
And then to find out, oh, it's not that simple. I can't just ask people to cover for me.
Yeah.
Was like, what the fuck? Like, and like those hiccups are really hard. And then I like got home and just, it took me a long time to like get into like my workout thing. And I like looked at porn for a little while because I was feeling so depressed. And because porn is just like such a quick, it's just like such a snap, like emotionally. There's this guy, Dr. K.
Okay.
And
K the letter or K-Y?
Dr. K, yeah,
okay.
The letter, yeah. And this year, oh man. But Dr. K, he became like a therapist and a doctor. And he oh man, what was it? Healthy Gamer.
Okay.
Is his YouTube channel.
Okay.
And he just helps people manage their time and their habits. It's a big thing. But he was on a podcast with Dr. Raina Malik, who's a urologist, and they were just talking about like sexual health and pornography use and stuff. And they talked about how like porn ignites every part of the brain.
Amazing.
And that's why it can be so like addicting, because like if you're having like any sort of emotional turmoil, it immediately like kind of takes you out of it. But yeah, so today was just kind of like a rough day. But I eventually like got the things I wanted to get done. I still need to write a little bit, and I still need to look at my finances, which will be a great way to end the day.
And then I'll go to sleep.
But yeah, so like I don't know what I'm trying to. I guess like it is wild when a foundational piece ends up not being what you think it is.
Yeah.
Or not as helpful as you think it is. Like it can derail stuff.
Sure.
And I guess this just brings us back to like, figure out the foundation. And that'll give you the bandwidth to live the life you want.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah. At least that's what we're trying to figure out.
That's what we're trying to figure out. I mean, yeah, I always want somebody to like just tell me what to do. Like, please.
Well, like, you said it yourself. Like nobody's coming.
Nobody's coming.
Yeah,
nobody's coming. It's like, all right, well, I guess I'll tell myself what to do.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, and then there's so many other things. Like I'm working on my time management.
Cool.
And it's like, oh my god, like I feel like there's so many hours and then there's none. And I constantly feel that way.
Yeah. I mean, you're working like 9 to 5, like a 9 to 5.
I'm working a 9 to 5, and it's actually a 7 to 6, and it's just like there is no time. There really is no time.
Yeah.
If you count like exhaustion, like there's sleep, and then there's the exhaustion between my 7 to 6 and my sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah.
I've been trying to work on that. Yeah, just a lot of stuff.
That's good though.
I'm trying.
What kind of? And we talked about this last year. Holy shit.
Last year.
Yeah. What kind of person do you want to be? Like, what person do you see in hell?
Right.
If you go to hell.
Right.
And that person was a indie filmmaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I have time to do that, Ari.
Well, yeah, but I guess like, yeah, I'm curious. Like, who is like, what does that guy? What does that person do? What does their day look like?
I don't know, because I mean, that's a big thing. Like, where I'm like, how do I get from here to there?
Yeah.
My act 2. It's just like,
yeah, you're in your act 2.
I'm coming towards my act. I'm in my act 1. I'm at the inciting incident. I say I want to change. I don't know what my act 2 is. I don't know my next move.
Yeah.
I mean, probably next move is finish a script. Get a script that you like.
That's great. I mean, that's it.
You know, and then
yeah,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
well,
presumably, like
then what
an
happens?
independent, like an indie writer director.
Yeah,
that person writes.
sure.
You know.
Yeah, and I think it's like that's where I wonder about how you're like believing in yourself isn't required, and also it isn't always enough. Like, well then what is it? I mean, I don't believe in myself, but also then what is it? Discipline?
I mean, gathering evidence. I think
gathering evidence, right?
Like,
just be like, no, I am this, I guess, and gather.
Or not even that. Just be like, well, I mean, now we're getting prescriptive, right? Which isn't
sure.
Like you,
which is
you
exactly what I want, but it doesn't exist.
Exactly, because I'm going to say something and really what I'm going to be saying is for myself,
right?
You know,
right.
But I think at least for me, when it comes to time management, it's like what's the thing,
sure,
you know, and that has to be the first thing
in your day, or just like what you put
day.
first. Gotcha.
Yeah, my day.
Sure.
And I mean, and we've talked about this before, but that, like, when I started doing that is really when my life opened.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my life, for all intents and purposes, is pretty messy.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I for a long time I coasted on purpose instead of independence and a foundation. And my purpose really opened up when it was like I rolled out of bed and wrote.
Wow.
Like when I started doing that. And for a long time it was like there were days where I just wrote a sentence. You know?
Sure.
And it was just that consistency. And now it's like there are days when it's hard. There are days when I get stuck, but I show up, you know, and it's like I don't even think about it. But yeah, what comes up when you hear me say that?
What do you mean, like in my soul or something? What do you?
Yeah, or like I just said. I find out I figure out what the most important thing is, and I do it first thing in the day.
Sure.
Like, I think there are people who hear that and are like, "Oh, fuck you." That's stupid. And they still figure it out. They sit on their own, you know. And then there are some people who are like, "Oh, I want to try that." Sure. But
you know, I have thought about that. I think from the last time you said it, because it kind of works out. Like my dream would be to sit at my own desk in my own home and write. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
But I do not have the energy when I come home. And it used to be I would write in the middle of the night. I'd go, oh great, it's time to write. It's midnight, time to write. And I'd write until probably like 3 a.m. But what works out is that so it takes me an hour to get to work because of all the traffic, and I'm trying to like squeeze all the sleep I can. If I leave a half an hour earlier, I'll get to work in half an hour, which leaves me an hour before I have to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Wow.
And I was thinking about that because I was like, oh, let me just take my laptop and work for that hour.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to like find it somewhere else. There it is. I've solved my traffic problem. I've solved my writing problem.
Yeah.
And then I have and I'll also have a dedicated workspace. It's where I do all my work anyway.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you got it.
I guess that's something to test out. Yeah. So I guess that, and then I would be doing it first in the day, first thing in the day, and first thing in the morning.
It's beautiful.
I don't know. Well, I guess so.
I mean,
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I think that's what's so hard too, though. Like the knowledge isn't necessarily enough.
Yeah.
It's like there's like, yeah, there's other stuff going on there.
The knowledge isn't enough. And like that, like sometimes it's not as it's not obvious, like to where it seems like you're just moving like play blocks around.
Yeah.
But that's not really how it is. And
yeah, because there's all these like feelings and emotions attached.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the idea of writing in my office like makes me want to throw up. But also that's the only place I can work it out. And maybe it won't be as bad as I think.
Yeah, right. You mean just in terms of like the people around there, like just sitting there?
No one will even be around. I have a private office. I have a door and everything.
Sounds lovely.
It's just the environment, but I can always make the environment a little bit better. I have pictures and stuff in my office and everything. But yeah, and then that frees up my evenings. I can play some Mortal Kombat or something.
Oh my god, it's gonna feel so good.
It's gonna be great.
A good day for me
mm-hmm.
is all the things that I intended to do are done.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling.
I need to meal prep. I need to like actually meal prep. Because I don't eat enough. But believe it or not, I don't eat enough. I don't eat the right things enough. I need to.
I think, like, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I would take it one step at a time.
Oh, okay.
And like, if I want to be an independent writer director,
sure,
I have to write like that.
Oh,
that is
oh
part of who that person is.
You know what?
And like, I think, and you want to spend less.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe funnel some of that ticket cash into just eating out.
What the hell?
Bit.
Fucking kind of.
So you don't have to like meal prep.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like because like being a person who writes daily and meal preps, that's a lot to just put on.
I said meal prep, but I don't want to make like 4 little Tupperwares of chicken
full of plastic.
Full of plastic. First of all, that's not what I want to do. I meant what I really should have said is that I want to know what I'm having for lunch every day. Before I have lunch.
Beautiful.
Because that's more what it is. I don't
totally.
Every day it gets to be lunchtime and I'm like, like I didn't know I was gonna fucking eat that day.
Yeah.
And I do it every time. And when I have my lunch, like let's say I take my Indian meal, and I'm like, oh great, okay, and there's another one on the freezer, and I'll have that tomorrow. And I'm like, but what am I gonna have for dinner? Do I even have anything for dinner? Like every time a meal comes around, I'm surprised.
No, I think that's very normal. I think
So no, I don't want to cook for 2 hours on Sunday and then pack it up and then just grab it out of the fridge. People say that's easier. It drives me insane. Like cooking, I love cooking, but the idea of just like making a giant meal to then divide over the week, it makes me feel like a science rat. A lab rat is what they're called.
Oh my god, it's fucking hilarious. No, I feel you. Yeah. But no, but again, like I think, like happiness is purpose and independence, right?
Right.
And like, are you doing anything for either of those things?
Not at the moment, no.
Yeah.
But
So let's get a little piece of. Well,
independence.
I would argue you're working on that independence piece.
I'm trying.
You are.
Oh, thank you. I am
just
trying.
talked about your like plans with your finances. Blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
And I'm doing pretty well.
Yes.
Thank you.
But the purpose piece is like, where the fuck?
The purpose piece is dead.
Yeah,
you've got it. I'm doing CPR on the purpose piece.
Yeah.
Like last year my thing was like right now I'm like let's get a foundation, right? Last year I was like it's okay to not believe in yourself for a little bit. And I was like, okay, let's take a pause and just like work on the things where like the results you can see, because that's always been my thing.
Yeah.
Which is what I like. I work in an accounting office. That's what I like about my job, that I can see whether or not I've done something wrong.
Yeah.
And writing is very much the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I can be the only person in the world that likes it, or I could make Jurassic Park. I don't know. And you don't know until you're fully done.
Yeah.
That's what really bothers me.
Yeah.
You don't know that you've made something good until you have completely washed your hands of it.
Yeah. I mean, filmmaking's insane.
Filmmaking's insane.
It's like the most insane art form, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's fucking crazy. Yeah, the purpose part. And the thing is that I think it just comes from something that doesn't even have a name. Like, were you checking to see if my burp registered on this?
No.
It's something. It feels like something that doesn't even have a name. Like, I would probably say it's self-confidence, but it doesn't boil down to I think I'm a bad writer. I don't think I can achieve my dreams. It's just like you wake up and you're like, not feeling it. And then you wake up like that for 365 days, and you're like, okay, try to feel it a little bit this time.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, how hard do you work for it? How hard do I want to work for it? And then that's what happens. And I go, is this even what I want to do?
Yeah.
And that's a cycle. That's a cycle.
Right. That you're stuck in.
That I'm stuck in.
But that's the thing. It's like once you're in it, it'll be clearer. And it and there will be a point where you're like, I don't want to do this. Or you're like, thank God I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Man, wow. Holy shit. You just went off.
I don't know, man.
No, this is great.
What is up with you? I feel like I've just been talking about me this whole time. What's up with you, man? How are you?
It's not even true. I just like opened up about FedEx and everything.
Yeah, dude. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, like the job thing is like so.
Yeah.
It's like, because it's one thing if I was trying to start a business or wanted to be a doctor, you know, but no, I want to. I literally want to do what I did last year, just at a bigger scale.
Right.
And it's like, how? Like,
right.
And it comes, and here I am spouting off about all this shit of like, it's not about goals and results. It's just about being and da. And yet I'm still here being like, how?
Right.
Like, what do I do?
Right.
And yeah, and like, if I'm being honest, I'm not entirely the person that does everything that I did last year at scale.
Okay.
Like, I'm certainly not auditioning as much as I could be. I have a manager, but I could definitely get better reps. I don't really make an effort to audition commercially, and that could be a source of income. I do write. I'm actively writing. And yeah, it's the writing pieces there. but I'm not like, I guess networking is the right word, but I also like have my people. Thank you for listening.
Sure.
I do feel like I don't have nothing, but to like up it is it just feels daunting and scary, and I'm poor, you know. I was working a really lucrative job a year ago, a year ago, and saved up a lot, and I was coasting on that for a long time, and that runway is like close to being done, you know. And yeah, it's like, can I scale without a job, you know,
right,
like a day job.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just having a moment.
No, I mean that's
Yeah.
that's the whole freaking point.
Yeah, it's just like crazy. Like I feel crazy.
Yeah.
And like what I want to do is so like selfish, and I'm not saying that in like a negative way. It's just like the filmmaking piece. It's like, how could I possibly expect somebody to give me money to do that? Because it's like mine.
Right.
And like what you were saying about Tarkovsky, it's like people other than Tarkovsky have to believe in Tarkovsky, you know?
Yeah.
And these feelings I'm having make sense. B, how is that like helping me though? You know, like we're talking about like identity, and it's like it's just like it's hard. Like I feel like, so they did this study with rats.
Oh.
Yeah, with science rats.
Where they meal planned.
And yeah, when they like, I forget how they like made this happen, but basically they took a rat and this is old study. They drowned them.
Oh wow.
And they put them in water and forced them to tread water. And they did a whole group, put them in there. Fuck, I'm not doing a good job of explaining this. Just bear with me. I'm trying to do. So they're treading water, and some of them drown, and then they pull the other ones out. And then they put the surviving rats. Oh man, shit. Basically, it's like, if I don't know how long I have to tread water, it's terrifying. And like, I might stop or give up sooner than I should. Yes. Like I probably have more in me, and I just give up because I think it's forever. Yeah. Because my brain doesn't know when the end is, so I'm like, if this is forever, there's no way I'm gonna make it. Yeah. Whereas if somebody has a clock and it's like you have to tread water for 4 minutes, I can tread water for 4 minutes. Yeah. Sure. Right now, I'm treading water and I don't know how much longer. Yes. I have to. Yeah. And it's like, it's a crazy feeling. Yeah. Like, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm having a moment.
No, go for it, man. Go for it.
But yeah, thank you for listening.
Oh, sure, man. Hey. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, it's been how long has it been?
An hour and a half.
Listeners, thank you for being on this journey with us.
Thanks for listening, listeners.
Yeah. So this is part of our like new format that we've only done a few times. Right. Where we keep each other accountable, check in, and then we talk about a movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We talk about a movie too, don't we?
Yeah. But it's been an hour and a half, and it's a new year, and I think we should just kind of give it a rest.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. And then we'll come back. We're gonna watch Stalker. So watch
Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker.
It's on HBO Max.
Oh hell yeah!
You have no excuse.
It's not green.
It's not green. They shot it 3 times for you.
You have to watch it.
You have to watch it. They shot it and edited it 3 times for you because people have seen the first one.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my
And then
god!
it burned up in a fire. Yeah. And allegedly, it's almost exactly the same.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Which is wild. But but it looks different though,
Right?
because they shot at different locations and all this shit. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And then it was green.
Right.
Anyway, listeners. Yeah. I'm gonna read a little poem for you guys.
Hell yeah.
So this is Dream Life by Billy Collins. Whenever I have a dream about poetry, which is not very often, considering how much I think about her, she appears as a seamstress who works in the window of a tailor's shop in a sector of a provincial city, laden with a gray and heavy sky. I know the place so well I could find the dimly lit shop without asking anyone for directions, though the streets are mostly empty, except when I saw a solitary man looking in the window of a butcher's, his hands in the pocket of his raincoat. Poetry works long hours and rarely speaks to the tailor as she bends to repair the fancy costumes of various allegorical figures who are told by thrift how little she charges. Maybe their ermine collar on the robe of excess has come loose, or a rip in the gown of abandon needs mending, and no questions will be asked about how that came to pass. A little bell over the door rings whenever a customer enters or leaves, but poetry is too busy thinking about her children as she replaces a gold button on the blazer of pride.
That's very nice.
Whoa.
And had you read that before?
No.
Very relevant, I feel like.
Yeah, I just saw the title Dream Life.
Sure.
And I was like, oh.
Well.
Billy Collins. Oh, man. All right, listeners. Thank you for listening. If you've made it this far,
hey,
hit us up on our Instagram at
This is the Ticket.
Or you can email us at thisistheticketpod@gmail.com. You can find those in the show notes. If you're the first one to email us or DM us about listening to the whole episode, we'll give you $1.
Hell yeah. Here's $1.
And we've been kind of quiet on the YouTube channel front. The YouTube channel I'm on, Morons, but we'll have a couple new videos coming up. I'll put that link in the show notes. Do you have anything to plug?
In Defense of Taste.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Fucking hey, we didn't even talk about that.
Oh, that's okay. Once again something I flounder on all the time. My writing that's not fictional.
It's good.
Thanks, Ari. My Substack, In Defense of Taste. Right now I'm trying to watch. Oh, that's another thing I'm working on. Jesus Christ. Right now I'm trying to watch 1,000 movies in a year, but the point of the Substack is to highlight movies that aren't like The Godfather and movies that people think are bad or movies that I think are underseen or whatever.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. It's really good, everybody.
Thank you.
Find it in the show notes. Alrighty. My name's Ari Wojciech.
My name's Casey Young.
And this is
The Ticket.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.